This is Long Beach Radio. Good morning, West Coast. It is 4 minutes after 9 o'clock, and as I've been promising through the morning, I've got Bonny Glambeck sitting in the chair next to me. She's here, I guess, representing the Friends of Clayoquot Sound. They have a presentation tonight at the Tofino Botanical Gardens in the, what do they call that? The Eco Lodge now?
The Eco Lodge, yeah.
And it's about, well, I guess you should probably tell the story a little bit about the presentation and why you think it's an important thing to bring here to the coast.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on, Jeff. Yeah, the presentation tonight is Fish Flu, What to Do. And recently, infectious salmon anemia virus was found in British Columbia waters in a couple of wild salmon. That happened this fall. And so we basically want to bring information to Tofino about that. And we've got Todd Sandell from the Wild Fish Conservancy who's going to do a presentation about what ISA will mean for the wild stocks of British Columbia and what the forecast might look like. And Friends of Clayoquot Sound have been doing an ISA sampling project this fall, so we also want to update people on that.
So what I guess we should go into first this salmon anemia thing. It's a fairly new development out here on the West Coast. It's something that it seems, or at least as far as its prevalence in the news in the last little bit. What is the actual condition that the fish are suffering from? Do you know a little bit more about that? Or?
Well, I think it causes basically kidney failure. I'm not a veterinarian or a biologist, so I can't go too much into the detail on the anatomy of what happens to the fish, but it does cause death in fish. It caused massive die-off in the Chilean fish farms in the last few years, which caused a lot of layoffs in their production and lots of jobs and costs a lot of money for the industry. So it can be fatal to fish. It's also fatal to herring as well.
Okay.
Herring can contract it. And now we know that the Pacific wild salmon can contract the disease as well.
So historically, it was an Atlantic salmon concern. Is that so?
Yeah, it's ISA or infectious salmon anemia virus is endemic to Norway.
Okay.
And the suspicion is that it's come to Canada, to Pacific waters, from the eggs that are imported for the salmon farms. Yep. That's a suspicion of where it's come from. And wild salmon advocates have been suspicious for a few years now that ISA may be present in British Columbia waters through the Cohen Commission of Inquiry into the decline of the Fraser salmon. Information came out that there was over 1,100 reported cases of classic ISA lesions in fish farms in British Columbia, although these were never connected with ISA through the provincial vet.
And then, so these recent studies that we've been discussing, they have been cases of ISA confirmed in Pacific salmon now, is what you're saying, with jump-ins.
That's correct. There was SFU is doing studies on Rivers Inlet, which is up on the north coast of British Columbia in the Great Bear Rainforest, and they tested 48 smolts, sockeye smolts, to see if they might be suffering from this ISA, and 2 of them tested positive. Since then, there's been 5 other fish on the Fraser River that have also tested positive for ISA, so we're up to 7 positive tests right now. And one thing that's a little bit troubling is it's in multi-generations, so we have the smolts in the Rivers Inlet, and we've got adult spawners in the Fraser River who are infected with this. So that's a little bit distressing because it means that it's possible this virus has been around for a few years now.
Okay. I suppose tonight actually will probably be a better time to get a lot of the more technical questions out of the way. What sort of information, how is the presentation formulated tonight? You know, is it a kind of a PowerPoint thing? Is there song and dance bits or anything?
Yeah, well, I don't know about any songs, but maybe an ode to the wild salmon. But I'm going to be doing an update on the Friends of Clayoquot sampling program and letting people know how that's going. We've got Mainstream Salmon has got a new application for a new fish farm on the shores of Mears Island up in Fortune Channel.
The Plover
Point one, so we're going to update people on what's happening with that. And then Todd Sandell is going to talk about ISA and talk a bit about their work that he does with the Wild Fish Conservancy. So that's what will be happening tonight, and it will be PowerPoint presentation.
Okay.
We're also hoping to have discussion because I know people have a lot of questions about these issues, and it's something that should really be of concern to everyone in our community, whether they're employed by a fish farm or whether they would like to see fish farms out of the area. ISA is something that's going to have a negative impact.
Could threaten both. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, it could be a threat to both. So
I am just from this conversation here. Speaking of questions, one of the questions I might have had to ask is that it just seems like 7 fish not knowing how big the actual sample size of all the testing was. It's like to have 7 fish found in what could be millions of them. You wonder what the anomaly is, like what the situation, if it's rare for them to be susceptible to it, or if the sample sizes are so small and you're ending up with that many, maybe it's that much more common. It's kind of a difficult thing to know, so that's a question I would have, I guess, for tonight.
Yeah, I think that's the case, because what's happening right now is we're just, the sample sizes aren't big right now, so that's a bit of an indicator how widespread this thing might be.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, tonight, 7 o'clock, doors open, 7:30, I think.
Yeah, we'll start up at 7:30. Yeah, well, we're going to serve refreshments as well.
Sweet. Refreshments are refreshing.
Yes.
And it's at the Eco Lodge in the Tofino Botanical Gardens. Donation to Friends of Clayoquot Sound if you want to do that when you get there.
That would be fantastic, yeah.
Sweet. For more information on the organization, focs.ca is the website.
Yeah, or give us a call at 250-725-4218.
All right. Well, is there anything else you'd like to cover? Or?
No, just hope to see people out tonight, and I'd love to have some participation in the discussion.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in, Bonnie.